Every police officer has stories. Some are funny, some are confronting, some you'll never read in a headline. Roger Mayer's had a long career in the Northern Territory and New South Wales Police Force, and he's got a few stories to tell. Tall tales and true, real Australian police stories. And yes, sometimes there are quiet shifts. They just don't make the podcasts. Or maybe some will.
Police, stop or I'll send the dog.
BKG, any dog on channel?
Dog 11 on channel, go.
Dog 11, a 10:15 Bear Street, Smithville, re-break and enter in progress.
Dog 11, copy, 5 minutes. Dog 11, off at the scene now. Person's decamping, releasing the dog.
This podcast contains discussions about real policing experiences, crime, prison, violence, and adult themes. Some episodes include coarse language and may not be suitable for listeners under 18. Stories shared on this podcast come from policing experiences in both the Northern Territory and New South Wales, including time spent working in the dog squad. Some stories involve Indigenous Australians due to the nature of policing work in the Northern Territory. These stories are shared from personal experience and are not intended to stereotype or disrespect any individual or community. Some names and identifying details have been changed to protect privacy. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome back to episode 9 of Tall Tales and True podcast. I'm here with Roger Mayer, the author of Tall Tales and True. How are you, Roger?
I'm very well, I think. It's a bit cold. I've got my beanie on. I'm glad people can't see me. I've got my tracksuit pants on.
Me too.
My Crocs and my beanie. But yeah, it's good to be here. Thank you.
It's a bit chilly tonight.
I just want to thank you for all the work you did. Just for people out there listening, Deb does a lot of work. She's put us all together, put the all the platform together, the website. She did everything. I'm flat out tying my shoelaces up, and I'm not very good with electronic stuff. That's why I was a dog handler, not a radio operator or technician.
Well,
so thank you very much.
Thank you, Roger. But you did all the hard work. You actually lived the experiences and you put it all in your books. So.
And lived to tell the tale.
That's right.
And a big shout out to Five Islands Pest Solutions for supporting us.
Yes.
And being one of the sponsors. And a big shout out to Croker's Towing at Bateman's Bay. Oh. They listen to us when they're out on the road and they do a great job down there. They don't tout for business. We'll talk about tow trucks a bit later, I think.
Oh, yes.
You've got a question.
Very good timing.
And if anyone's got a question, doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a stupid question. Just let us know. How do they get in touch with us, Deb?
They can just send us a message. They can email info@talltalesandtrue.com. But yeah, any of our social media or even through the website, there's a contact us form on the website. So.
All right. Tall Tales and True.
However they want.
Beautiful. You see that? Reach out and touch us nearly.
Yeah. So we do have, we've got one question today from one of our listeners.
Yes.
And he said, "G'day, Roger. Just wondering if you had any first-hand knowledge about the Hume Highway tow truck scam from the late 80s.
Yes, no, none directly about that. But during that time, in the late 80s, the 70s and 80s, there was a lot of problems with tow truck operators around the Sydney area, especially around Parramatta. I was at Campbelltown. When I was at Campbelltown, we kept them all in check and they were all good guys. Parramatta was out of control. But we had a good setup there because what happens originally, when there's a motor vehicle accident, in those days, every police had to go to every accident and someone was either found at fault and vehicle had to be towed or they might have to be breath tested. Now, we were doing work for the insurance companies. But now, unless there's someone seriously injured or affected by alcohol or drugs or decamps from the scene, decamp's the police word we like to say, where they take off, they run off, but we say decamped, then the police don't get involved. And you can report it just through the police assistance line if you need to. The police station don't want even coming in there to report it. So unless there was someone injured, but in the 80s, from when I was there in Campbelltown in January 82 onwards, we went to every motor vehicle accident, and the first thing in the morning, somebody a rear ender, and you were going, there's a prang, no one's injured, you go up there, some poor bloke is pulled up short, someone's running in the back of him, so you then have to give him a ticket for neg drive, so he's not happy about that. There was no points lost or anything, and then we did the report. The insurance company would apply for the report and see who's at fault and all that sort of nonsense. But the tow truck drivers would listen to the police scanners back in those days. They would have a scanner that would pick up ambulance, fire and police. And as soon as they had a motor vehicle accident, they're there straight away. And a lot of times they'd be fighting over the tow. Literally, there'd be iron bars and hammers and all sorts, very, very violent at some of the motor vehicle accidents, and the poor drivers are going, well, what's going on here? And they would intimidate the drivers, a lot of them, these guys, to make them take their tow. It wasn't the tow that was the big deal, it was getting the repair. So they got your car back to the workshop that they worked for, there were a good chance of getting the repair.
Yeah.
Because the insurance company weren't going to pay another towing fee to take it somewhere else to a preferred repairer. So a lot of the times that was where the money was made. And the tow truck driver got a percentage or got the tow fee, and he may even get a little bit on the back end of the repair. So it was big business and to get there first. In Campbelltown, before I got there, they were very well organised. The tow truck drivers themselves were well behaved, very responsible. We had a guy turn up. He came from Parramatta, and I'll tell you his first name. He was a nice guy. Vic, his name was. He had a big beer belly, and he was a real likeable sort of a bloke when you spoke to him. And he came from Parramatta and had been in some nasty setups there, and he was so happy when he came to Campbelltown that he didn't have to get into fights to try and get a tow. And we also had what was called a rostered tow truck system. So if the driver was incapacitated, he was injured and couldn't make a decision, or he was shook up, he would say, can you get a tow? And we can't tell him which vehicle to tow, which used to happen.
Yeah.
Let's call it for what it is. Back in the day, some police got caught out ringing tow truck operators or giving them preferential treatment, especially around Parramatta, and a few of them got the sack from the cops.
Right.
For what? For $5. They'd pay you $5 for ringing them up. Oh, there's a prang, you know. Get over there for $5. But that happened because the cops know we didn't get paid very much. Everybody had a second job. You know, it was sort of accepted that you had another job. I had 2 or 3. Anyway, so we had this good system at Campbelltown, and there was never any argy-bargy about it. The rostered tow truck system, so what would happen is it was a list of, say, 5 tow truck companies, however many there were, and you start at the top and just work your way down and then roll over again. Yeah. And if they didn't answer, they couldn't, you'd go to the next one and so on. And you wouldn't want to miss a guy because they knew exactly who was next on the tow. And they'd turn up and they go, there's nothing here for me. I had a good mate who was a tow truck, Fat Cat, we called him. And he had Campbelltown Towing and a removals business. I actually used to help move furniture when he was on my days off. But he would rather talk to the cops than try and get a tow. It was if he got one, he was happy, but he didn't go in there fighting for it. So, but I know that it became quite a violent scene in the late 70s, early 80s, and something had to be done about it. And just as a flow on from that, worse than this was the glaziers.
Oh. Right,
the people fixing windows. And when I was working in the dog unit in the city, there was a mob going around paying young fellas to go and smash windows of a night. Right.
And so like shop front windows.
And what they do is they turn up and they board it up, and they had a cordless drill, some plywood, and they'd leave their card there, and they'd turn up the next morning with the chance of getting the glass job.
Wow.
and it was a big rort going on. So we had to introduce similar things to the tow trucks.
Okay.
There was actually inquiry in the 80s and 90s into the tow truck industry, and it was quite a big inquiry, and they found all these problems, and then they reissued tow truck licenses. You'll see them now. It says TT on them, tow truck, and TT 1234, TT whatever. And the tow trucks, if they turned up at a scene, and the police, there was many ways we could sort of sort them out. The first thing you'd say, have you got your broom on the... They had to carry a broom to sweep up the glass.
I remember that.
Yeah, and you'd give them a ticket, no broom.
Oh, no
right?
broom.
No broom. So they knew to have a broom, and they had to do things and their job was to clean up the scene as well, not just get the tow. They cleaned up the glass, and most of them did a good job. But there was, this rort going on the highway. The drama with that was with the big trucks, the semi-trailers. They're the ones, and there's a mob running around that ran a high-speed car up and down the highway, the Hume Highway, the Pacific Highway, all the major highways, and they would be on the scanner listening, and they would go flat out to get to these truck rollovers or truck crank, because that's what they wanted. Heavy vehicle towing, they had heavy vehicle, and they would guarantee all these things, we're going to repair your truck, we'll pay this, we'll do that, and because big money to be made in repairing a truck, or it got written off, you get the parts. So there was a bit of a rort going on, but as with everything, once we put those things into place, it stopped.
Okay.
But we didn't have that problem at Campbelltown, as I said, because there was things put in place before I got there, and the cops I was working told me the rules, and they pointed out the tow truck drivers that were good and the ones that weren't so, and they were all pretty good there. We had a fella, and he's passed away now, I'm not going to mention his name, who was a troublemaker, and another bloke came from Parramatta, easy pickings, and then we had to sort of break him into the rules, and I had some words with him one day, because he was a bit... He cast aspersions on my character, shall I say.
Right.
I called him on it.
Okay.
Anyway, I won't say any more, but I wasn't going to have someone cast aspersions on me. And for those listeners out there, it means that he said bad things about me, which weren't true.
And you just reminded me, actually, of... When would it have been? Like the late 80s, where I live with my parents, our next door neighbour was actually a tow truck driver.
Oh, he'd have some stories. They always had an iron bar in there for protection.
He had a really nice...
What suburb was that?
Oh, it was...
Castle Hill?
St
the
Clair.
Hills? Oh, St Clair over the hills. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Over towards
I
Penrith.
won't mention any names.
No,
I can't even remember his name, to be honest.
No, don't do that. But that was another tough area over there.
Okay.
Penrith,
but he actually
Mount
did
Druitt.
have a scanner, because I remember him inviting us over and we'd all
listen to the scanner. Yeah. Well, when we went to secure radios, that stopped that.
Yeah.
Because the police radios, we went over to DVP digital radios, and they couldn't scan the channels. And that made it... So they had other ways, but they would pay spotters. Like, say there was a black spot area. I think Blacktown... on Sunny Holt Road is a black spot. They would pay someone, have somebody living there saying, if there's an accident here, ring us. They have the card right near the phone, and there's a few bucks in it for you. And they would get people ringing up, and it was good for them.
Yeah, I vaguely remember him even mentioning one day that he may have potentially caused accidents on purpose.
Oh, there you go. That could have happened too. I'm not commenting on that, but it was a big business, and insurance premiums go up and all the rest of it. But the whole insurance industry needed looking at, and there was an inquiry into it, and tow truck operators, and there was a lot of good operators, but they had to make a dollar. It's very competitive. Who can get there? And they had nice rigs, and who had a nice rig, and they would, sweeten the deal and tell you they will get you a loan car even though you didn't have it covered in your insurance, and we'll do this and we'll do that, and all sound very good till you got back to the yard.
Okay. So if you want a trustworthy towing company.
Yeah, Croakers at Bateman's Bay.
At Bateman's Bay.
And they go everywhere and anywhere, and they're very good. Mm-hmm. All right, so I'll throw out to them.
Yeah. Good timing. Now, I have another question for you. If you're finished with the towing stuff.
Yes, go on.
Unless you had anything
We've done enough about towing.
Okay. So, on one of our local community groups today, I saw a question about dog trainers.
Yes.
So I thought I'd just read it out. I won't mention any names or suburbs or anything like that. But I just wanted to get your take on it. And So the person was saying, does anyone have any recommendations for local dog trainers that don't use aggressive or violent methods in their training? I had a very confronting experience today with a local dog trainer and wondering if there are any out there that actually genuinely like dogs and use a more gentle, holistic approach to training. Thanks in advance. And then in a later comment, this person actually said, would like to avoid having my dog kicked in the head as a method of training if possible.
Ooh.
So, what do you think about that,
look,
Rog?
It's an unregulated business, and anyone who can go and do a 3-day course or do an online course and hang out a shingle saying they're a dog trainer and dog behaviourist, I don't like to use those terms, although I've been doing it, for 40 years. I learned, and I'm still learning still learning all the time. If you have to go, and sometimes you might have to go physically hands-on with a dog, that is to restrain it because it's attacking or doing something, that's completely different. But if you have to kick a dog in the head, there is something very wrong. I can't see a situation. I'm dead against that. Hitting or kicking a dog. If I see someone kick a dog, and in the dog unit, if you put your foot near a dog or on a dog, you were sacked. You got sacked from the dog unit. It just didn't happen. Mm-hmm. If the dog's on lead, you use the lead. There is a lot of force-free, what they call force-free trainers out there now, and they're wonderful job. Using positive only, using food. I use food all the time, and I love it. But then there's a problem arises when the dog isn't going to take food, or the dog is super aggressive towards people or other dogs, or is recalcitrant. And there's four, what they call the 4 principles of training. Okay, positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, positive punishment, and negative punishment. That's the 4 quadrants of training for people as well as dogs. Okay, it's a scientific thing discovered in these 4 quadrants of learning that we all learn through these 4 quadrants. And if you just decide to take one positive reinforcement, that's great. But what are you going to do when you can't employ that? Then you have to go to maybe negative reinforcement, and you go to positive punishment or negative punishment. So you've got to keep yourself open to it. But it is unacceptable for someone to kick a dog in the head. I don't know the circumstances of it.
Yeah.
Whether he's been attacked or he had a bad day or whatever. But I would say that person's not an experienced dog trainer. If the dog was attacking him, that might be different. We don't know the circumstance.
Right.
But that's certainly unacceptable behaviour. You, as a dog trainer, I am the facilitator of the training. You are actually training the dog. I have to teach. I can train the dog. Most times I can train a dog. That's not the point. The point is that I teach you how to train the dog, and then you put those principles into place. And some people have trouble doing that because it's a skill that can be learned or not learned. So we have voice modulation, we have good timing, we have good instincts. You have to be able to read the dog, understand the dog's behaviour and what you want and how you're going to get there. There's got to be a plan. I get calls about reactive dogs all the time. Some reactive towards people, which I deal with, and mostly towards dogs. And this reactivity, they'll say to me, oh, my dog's reactive. But then I have to ask, what sort of how's he reacting? Is he lunging? Is he reacting that he wants to be playful, which I have a staffy, a client with a staffy, and she's going, oh, he's reactive. But when it got down to it, I said, what's he doing? Oh, he wants to play with them, which can still cause conflict to another dog, or is he lunging to bite or bark, or is he, what's he doing?
Yeah.
And then you can start to deal with it. And most of the time, it's fear. It's fear-based aggression, which is the most dangerous factor you can have. Fear is the most highly heritable trait in dogs. Every domesticated dog in the domesticated dog in the world comes from the wolf. Not wild dogs. Wild dogs are a different genus altogether. So we've got Canis lupus, which is the wolf, and Canis familiaris, which is the dog that we know. So your Chihuahuas, everything's been bred and crossbred and whatnot for specific purposes. So if you look back at most of the traits of the wolf, they have certain traits, and that is guarding, homing, procreation, meaning, they are gregarious. They like to be in a pack environment, but that still can be quite, It can be up and down. It can be quite convoluted. Wolves in their pack can change depending on the circumstances. And so we took these attributes and we go, yeah, that's good, but they're also very fearful. Wolves don't go around attacking people. When they reintroduced the wolf to Yellowstone Park a few years ago, they put collars on them. And these wolves, within a week, had gone up the Canadian border to escape from people. They weren't happy. They hadn't been in the park for about 80 years or 100 years, I think. I might be corrected on that. Somebody else tell me I'm wrong. But when they tried to reintroduce them, they weren't happy being around where they were being watched, and they moved away. So that fearfulness keeps them aloof and alive. So when we get a fearful dog, it's throwing back. And as dog trainers all over the world, and this term I learnt sort of 40 years ago, and never trust a yellow-eyed dog. And it throws back to some of the shepherds and some of these other big breeds and the Rottweilers. And I've seen I had a yellow-eyed dog. One of the dogs I had, a police dog, and he had yellow eyes. And that throws back to the wolf, and it just means that they have those sharper traits that a wolf might have. And you'll see most of the dogs you see have nice brown eyes, or you'll see huskies have got a blue eye or green eye or a wall eye.
We actually had huskies. It's a shame I didn't know you then. Could have used some training.
People ring me about huskies. I said, has he pulled a sled for 80 Ks and you're throwing a bit of caribou out for him? No, that's your first problem.
Ours has pulled a sled, actually.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's our friend used to race dogs.
That's what they're bred to do, and they love it. That's it. You put them on the end of a scooter or a bike or a sled, and away you go.
And it's interesting you're talking about the positive reinforcement, because I know with our huskies, they could not be bribed with food. No matter what. No,
that's why you cannot train, and people will disagree with this, but I know it's a fact. You cannot train dingoes off lead or out of a compound. They will do things for you because they don't need us. Because they'll wander off. They'll find something to eat, and in 2 or 3 days they come back. They're going back. Whereas most dogs go, it's dinner time. Dingoes and wild dogs inherently don't need us because they're self-reliant. And so a lot of people think, so you can't, and that's what bribing is. A lot of the time, if you're going to do it for this cookie? No. When you train a dog, these methods have come in with B.F. Skinner and a few other scientists, and Pavlov's theory on training dogs, where he discovered when he rang a bell and he fed the dogs, that he trained their brain to salivate when they heard the bell. So therefore, that is, and all the endorphins are kicking in, it's all this wonderful. And then even when he rang the bell and he didn't feed them, they still salivated for time and time again. So that's where this positive reinforcement comes in. But people go too far with it, and then the dog goes, there's no cookie, there's no treat, I'm not going to do it. And that's where, perhaps some negative reinforcement comes in. You go, you'll do it because I told you. And the best example of it is poker machines.
Oh, yes.
Poker machines have been scientifically, and they do studies on it, about the bells, the whistles, the noise, and you hear someone in the background. I was at the Oaks Flats Bowling Club for disco bingo last night.
Oh,
we didn't win. I might often get a win. Disco bingo. Love disco bingo. I was there.
I don't know what disco bingo is.
Oh, they just play all songs and you've got to mark them off.
Okay.
And you get 2 lines. So then I went and had a slap because I was playing Keno as well. And I had a win. So you hear all the bells and whistles, the lights are going, and then you get a little pay. So you're going to play again.
Oh, yep.
And then you might get a bigger one. And what we call a jackpot. And if you get the jackpot, they've got you. They've got you because they know you're going to keep coming back. And people like me with an addictive personality, dogs with addictive personalities who keep coming back for the reward, even though there's no reward, you're hopeful of it. So people can go days, weeks without having a win, and then they'll get a little win. Heaven forbid they get a big one because they're going to come back again.
Yeah.
They're chasing that all the time, and that's what dogs do. They're chasing the reward. There's that live in hope that it's going to come out.
Yeah.
So just, I love it. I love positive reinforcement training to a certain degree. But then if I said to you, I give you a big feed, give a big baked dinner, and I say to you, go out and mow the lawn, and I'll give you a Sayo biscuit. You go, no thanks. I'm not even doing it for a Tim Tam. Okay? But you're hungry, and you haven't had enough to eat, and you're hungry, and I go out and mow the lawn, I'll give you some food. You go, yeah, I'll do it. So it's got to have worth as well. And I use this example that if it hasn't got value, that you're not going to do it. I ring James Packer. James, come over and mow my lawn for me for $100. He goes, I don't think so. He didn't get out of bed for less than about $10,000.
I don't think he would have even answered the phone.
Probably wouldn't have even answered the phone. But so that is because he doesn't need it, because he has the resources to do it. Unless he wants to, he goes, I really enjoy mowing lawns. I'm going to come over and mow your lawn. And then I give him...
That's his
and this is why
hobby.
When we have dogs that are doing a task they enjoy, you don't see farmers rewarding their dogs for rounding up the sheep. They don't even tell them good dog. They do on this new show now with, where they're training the dogs. But in the old days, they get behind and the sheep come in. That is their enjoyment.
That's the reward.
They've been locked up. They're in the crate or on the end of the chain. We let you out. You run out. You enjoy it. When we work in police dogs, we reward them with a toy for doing, when we're in training. But most of the time, my dogs enjoyed just doing the work. That's where they got the enjoyment. And this is why I say about people, if you've got a job that you love, you never have to work a day in your life.
Yeah.
And then when you get paid, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
So if you enjoy doing something, then they pay you at the end. You go, how good's this? I used to tell people, don't tell the commissioner I'm having this much fun in the dog squad and getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Because most times, 99 times, even when I was up to my armpits in the kennels cleaning out the hair out of the poo trap, I go, yeah, this is a good job. But you enjoy it, and then anything's a bonus. So if you can make your training fun, then you're halfway there. But what people do is they're not making it fun for the dog. They're making it a chore and making it difficult, too difficult. And the dog, he goes, no, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
And if you don't enjoy it, you don't do as good a job. And you can make dogs do something. And there's a fellow named Conrad Kohler 50 years ago, maybe more, wrote a book on dog training. And his was all about positive punishment and negative reinforcement. So he's making the dog. It was called the forced retrieve. And people swore by it 50 years ago, the Kohler method. Bah, bah, bah. Mm-hmm. And he had a lot of success. But these were different dogs as well. These were quite hard German Shepherd type working Dobermans, Rottweilers and things like that who could take that sort of treatment. But you get a fluffy little dog, a nice little cavoodle, and you say, I want you to force retrieve, and I'm going to pinch your ear and make you retrieve. And he goes, oh, that's hurting me. Yeah. And he's not going to do it. He's going to shut down and go, I'm going home.
I'm putting my booties back
I'm putting my booties
by the fire.
I'm going to put on my pink jacket and I'm going home. They wouldn't do it. So, and then the method's still there. I read his book and I didn't agree with it. 40 years ago, maybe, I read the book. I started reading it, got it from the library, because there was no internet or anything. We looking for information. And I started reading it and I went, oh, I don't like this. But he had a lot of followings, and even still today he'll get quoted in training manuals and different things. But I wasn't a fan. The East Germans, and they trained their dogs hard. Before the Iron Curtain came down, and even the German police dogs were trained, and they've changed the way they do things, like we all did. Kids at school used to get flogged. Probably wouldn't do some of them. You know, if you did the wrong thing, you got the ruler out. You probably got the strap a few times. Did you go to Catholic school?
No, but we got the ruler.
You got the ruler and the strap
school.
In the public school.
Not
I got the cane. Not the strap. The strap. The brothers loved the strap in the Catholic schools, and you got punishment. But then what happened? You got frightened. If you got it wrong, there was fear. And with fear, you don't do as good a job. The carrot and the stick. You can use a lot more carrot than less stick. So getting back to this, that's a poor trainer. You don't deal with him. I hope you're not paying for it. It's your dog. I tell people the methods I'm going to use. And if I'm going to use corrections, aversives, we call them. Yeah, I say, this is why we're going to use an aversive. But when I use an aversive, it's a leash correction. So pop on the leash, and the dog doesn't know that it's come from me. And immediately after I correct a dog, the next words out of my mouth are praise. Good dog. Instant, genuine praise. Good dog. I say to people, you know why I'm praising him? He goes, he did the right thing. No, he didn't. I'm telling him we're still friends. Oh. We're still mates. Because I've given him, I've hurt his feelings a bit. I've gone, no. And maybe given a leash correction, I go, good boy, good girl, whatever it might be. Dog goes, oh, we're still friends. Oh. There's nothing worse than just, getting beaten down. No. Same with kids, same with people. If you're at work and they just keep telling you you're doing it wrong.
Jiu-jitsu.
You've got your head down, jiu-jitsu. Wrong. I kept making mistakes the other day. And the black belt's going, no, that's not right. I go, oh, yeah, you got one right. So, praise has its place. So instant, and it's genuine praise. And I say this, praise comes from the heart, correction comes from the lips, and you don't get them mixed up. So if you're really angry with your dog, walk away. Because it's coming from an emotion. And dogs pick up on emotions, and you'll see your dog shut down and go, oh, I'm really in trouble. And he can't learn in that state of mind. You're better off walking away going, I'm not talking to you now. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and we'll come back and discuss this later. Let it go.
But that was an interesting point you made about, like, there's a big range of dogs. Like, they're not all, dogs aren't just dogs. No. There's, like, big working dogs and there's small, like little fluffy pet dogs.
Yes.
So there's got to be probably different methods.
And each dog. You can have a base.
Exactly like people. I'm probably a visual learner, but I like to, if I read something, I like to write it out again in longhand, and I learn it that way. Sometimes I just can't learn it at all. Through repetition. I do the same thing. Like when I've studied, I'm a visual learner, but I write it all down, and I think I actually remember the words on the page.
That's right. And when you rewrite it again, my wife was like that. She would just write things out over and over. Yeah. And then she'd go into the exam and just
you remember what you wrote on the page. Yeah.
And training is a repetitive habit-forming exercise done under guidance, with the latter being discontinued at the earliest convenience. So what that means was that you do something over and over the same way till the person or the dog understands it, and then you can remove that bit. But you can always go back to it. But everybody says, oh, my dog knows how to sit. Oh, and it's really annoying for me. I go, oh, did you teach your dog to sit? They went, yeah. I went, so he couldn't put his bum on the ground till you taught him. I went, what? I said, he was standing there going, I wish somebody would teach me to sit because I'm tired of standing. And they go, no, well, you didn't teach him to sit. You taught him, you put a cue to the word for a behaviour.
Oh.
That's all it is. And you have operant conditioning and classical conditioning, and easy way to remember that. Classical, there's a stimulus, like I hold the food above the dog's head. He sits, I put a cue to it, I go, sit, I mark it, yes, and I give him the food. And the dog goes, oh. And the harder way, which is harder for me, is operant conditioning. So the dog is already sitting, and then you say to him, sit, and then you give him the treat, and the dog has to then figure out.
And then he's like, what did I do?
What did I do? Oh, yeah, I was in this position.
Oh.
So this is shaping, and some people are really good at it. I'm not. You've got to understand what you're good at and what you're not good at. I'm not good at shaping. I'm better at classical conditioning. I work better that way. But I still do use operant conditioning. If I've got a dog that's having trouble with the drop or the down, I'll wait till he's in the down. I'll say, down, yes, and mark that. And the dog's looking at me going, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So that's a repetitive thing. And some dogs are quicker than others.
Yeah.
We'll move on. And the other thing is that some dogs are better at understanding language than other dogs individually. It's just like people learn languages better. I got a couple of, my daughter's dogs, Loki's still there, and Stanley was staying for a couple of weeks. I'd have to spell words like W-A-L-K, and then he started to learn, oh yeah, we're going for a W-A-L-K. Because I mentioned in the sequence not even picking up the lead or doing, people say, oh, I pick up the lead and the keys. I'm going to walk the dogs, bang, they're there. Yeah. They heard that.
Yeah.
But they know when they're coming with me and when they're not. When I've got my jiu-jitsu bag, they should stay on and wave goodbye. They know the routine.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. And then when we're training dogs to track and search and find and bite and do agility and all those wonderful things, we're using all their natural attributes anyway that we're looking for.
Yeah.
Homing, guarding, and they want to be part of a pack. And some dogs are aloof. I had a dog a police dog was in the world for himself, and very, very hard to work with that dog because he challenged me. I think I could be the boss.
Oh, right.
And I went, you probably could, but you can't drive a car.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop him. And we call them status-seeking dogs. They're very rare.
Oh.
They want to lift themselves up. I want to be here. I'm number 4, but I want to be number 3, and then I want to be number 2, and you identify that. But most dogs are happy to be where you put them in the family. I wouldn't call it pack. Pack's the wrong word. A lot of people go, oh, pack. But I do use the word pack drive. Pack drive is the want to please the pack itself, or the leader. So some dogs want to please you. You can see I had my last dog, Jeff. His whole thing in life was to please me. Oh, you couldn't buy that. You couldn't buy it. I was blessed having a dog like that. He just goes, what do you want me to do? I will try and do it. And he would bust himself trying, and I wasn't good enough, and I'm not being modest, I wasn't good enough trainer or handler to teach him everything he could have learnt. Because he was he just wanted to do it.
Ready to go.
Ready to go all the time.
Wow.
And I went, mate, I'm not good enough for you. But I didn't tell anyone that.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to keep him.
Yeah, don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
Oh, well, when we will come back to dog training, obviously, because it's a big part of your life.
It is.
And I think I've got a lot of questions now about my now
Huskies.
Passed away, unfortunately, Huskies. But, man, they had some issues.
They do.
Maybe it was me. I don't know.
They're an Arctic dog.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a husky, and somebody again will disagree, don't see too many huskies in obedience trials going, look at me.
Well, we took our dog to puppy school, our first husky, and he basically they throw the toys out. He basically gathered up the whole lot.
Yeah, and kept them.
In between his paws, and he was like...
And guarding them.
Yeah.
It wasn't silly.
No one else is having
That's unusual for a husky because they don't usually... Well, some of them do want to play.
And even at the dog park, he would go to the water bowl and kick all the water out and growl at anyone that came near. Yeah. He would never attack anyone, but he
just
was always
resource guarding.
growling.
Yeah, guarding. Yeah.
But as far as guarding the house, they would let anyone come in.
Come in here.
Yeah,
Here's the good stuff.
Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Food's in the cupboard.
Oh, the keys here under
Keys.
the rock. Yeah. They would let anyone in.
They're not a guard dog.
No.
That's
definitely
you don't
not.
want. You don't want them for that. And then we can get on to people who want to guard dogs, and I'm dead against it. I am an anti-guard dog person. That's not the dog's job.
They were good at keeping cats and birds out of the backyard,
Yeah,
like
chase them
stray
away.
cats and stuff.
Yeah,
But
no, I'm not a fan of it because that's not the dog's job. It's putting a lot of pressure on the dog.
yeah,
A lot of pressure.
I think just having dogs is
It's just
kind of a deterrent.
if
in
you've
a
got
way,
a
but-
lot of people, a lot of times if the dog barks,
some
they put it
people,
on. Yeah, but if they're determined, they're going to hurt the dog, kill the dog, poison the dog. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
Why
It's not
would
gonna
you bother
stop
doing that?
Yeah,
I don't want my dog getting hurt. And people, when I had police dogs, they go, "Oh, you must be lucky. Got the house is safe." I said, "What are you talking about? He's locked in the kennel. Got a padlock on it. He can't get out even if he wants to."
yeah.
He couldn't protect the house. That's not his job.
Was that to protect him?
Yeah, well, he's an asset. I couldn't have him
Yeah.
wandering around. If somebody did
And
come and
getting
he bit
out
them,
or-
or he got out and, they could jump. Not that he would. My dogs don't go anywhere. They've got nowhere better to go than my place, but that's part of the routine. You lock them up so that when they go out, they're either going for a walk, being exercised, or they're going to work.
Okay.
Not just running around the backyard lying by the pool.
Yeah.
It's time to go to work. Oh, I don't think so.
I've got this nice sunny spot
Yeah.
here.
No, that's it. You keep them locked
And
up.
the other thing I'm going to ask you about is howling. Our boy
the howls.
was a howler.
That's the wolf.
I know, but
Yeah,
It
and
was-
they don't even know they're doing it half the time.
I mean, our neighbours actually complained.
Yeah.
We tried a lot of things, like even as a tiny puppy when we first got him home, he screamed the house down. Sounded like someone was being murdered.
Oh no, it's terrible.
And
very vocal.
he actually improved when we put him outside. Like he preferred to be outside.
Yeah, well, we've got daughter's boyfriend's got a husky, beautiful girl.
Oh yeah.
Marley, she comes. She's going deaf. They can't let her off the lead. She'll just run off, just go hunting.
Yeah.
And she's deaf anyway, but she loves coming to stay at my place and just follows me around. But she'd rather go outside, especially this colder weather. Don't forget, they're an Arctic dog.
Yeah.
So
they
doesn't
like
get
it
the
out
warmest it probably gets in Alaska is lucky if it got to 20 degrees in the summer. I don't know, maybe it does. But they love the snow and the ice. They've got a double coat and they curl up in the snow and go, how good's this?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
wrap
they
their
used
tail around them,
dig
around their
holes
nose.
in the garden to bury themselves in.
especially when it's hot.
Yeah.
They'll dig to stay cool.
But howling. Oh
Howling.
my goodness.
Yeah.
When he got old, he was kind of going blind, and I think he had a bit of dementia. And
Yeah, it
at
can
night,
happen.
he'd wander around the backyard and he'd start barking.
Hearing stuff. Yeah, because he couldn't hear. He
Yeah.
can't hear things.
I think he was like also because of his eyesight. Maybe
Yeah.
I used to think maybe because in the day he could maybe see a little bit better, but at night he gets a bit confused where he is. 'Cause it's dark.
dogs see better in the dark than we do because they can see what we see in the dark. They can see 6%.
Maybe you saw more in
They
the
can
dark.
see 6% of what we can of the ambient light. That's all they need. 6% of ambient light to see.
Okay.
Unless it's pitch dark. I've taken them into pitch dark and they still, where you can't see, I've taken them in these dark tunnels and they will still they won't run into the wall where I've got to walk with my hand in front of me. So dogs, because they've got more cones and rods, we see colours better and they can take in more light. So therefore they're using the light, the ambient light, just like people do with night vision goggles. It takes in the starlight and that's, not infrared ones. So
they can
those
see
goggles
better.
take in the light so you can see better. But it is that greeny grey colour with NVGs, night vision goggles.
Yep.
But dogs, and they don't see in black and white. They just can't see the shades that we see because that's all in black and white. They run into everything.
Yep.
They just look like if you've got a blue uniform on a blue background or green, they just go, oh, I can't see anything. They can. But they wouldn't have the colour spectrum that we have. Like some people are colourblind, but just means they can still, they think green is brown, they still see it.
Yep.
Or red is green, vice versa, whatever it is. When you're colourblind, you do the colourblind test. When I joined the cops,
Oh yeah.
told you about that. opened the book, and I panicked because all I saw was these coloured dots. They go, "What'd you see?" I went, "Number 62. Yes, next one. Number 49. Was you colourblind, you couldn't see it.
Oh.
The way they do it. And I went, I'd never done a colour test before, and I didn't know what I was supposed to see. I just saw all these dots, and I started to panic like an idiot. That's what the colour test is, colourblind test. Red, greens and browns and whatnot.
I wonder if they still do that.
Yeah, you have to be able to pass a colour test to get in the cops. Because if you get mixed up between a brown and a red car, you got a problem. Oh, keep a lookout for a brown station wagon.
Red. I don't know.
Well, could be red.
Could be brown. One of
now
those
I can't
two.
even tell what make it is. I couldn't. They all look the same.
Yeah.
I'm going, I don't know. I used to know Holdens, Fords, and I could tell you. Toyota, I go now, it's a white car. Luckily, I don't have to give a description. It's a white SUV.
Yeah.
Made by who? I don't know.
Some brand I've never
Some
heard
brand
of.
I've never heard of.
Some new electric vehicle.
Electric vehicle, because I couldn't hear it.
All right. Well, we will get back, like we said, to the dog training stuff, because that is interesting, and I know you've got a lot of dog training fans out there too. But this week, we were going to talk about Jacky Willy.
Jacky Willy.
So another story from the Northern Territory.
Yes.
I know I did say in probably 2 episodes ago that we were almost done with the Northern Territory stories and we were going to be in New South Wales.
Yes.
But we're still in the Northern
We're still in
Territory
the Northern
and we've still
Territory.
got a few stories to go.
Still got a couple.
Roger's written a couple of new ones too. Like this one is actually a new story that's
new
not
story.
in the book.
Not in the
a
book.
new story, but...
No, it's not in the book.
Not
There's a
in the
few
book.
left out of the book because I've written the book and it took me a long time and I wanted to get it finished and done with. And then I enjoy, I only did 200 copies, and if you've got one, you're one of the lucky ones. Hang on to it. Might be worth $1 later.
I've got mine right
You got
here.
yours, and they're all been autographed. Mm-hmm. I think 200 of them I autographed.
But there will be more.
There will be more but it's going to be a revised edition. So I apologise for that. But there's not enough to just do another book. I'm not into doing that. So I'm just going to revise it with some new stories from Northern Territory and New South Wales.
Yeah.
And hopefully they're interesting. We'll cover some of them here. So we're talking about Jacky Willy.
Yeah, so Jacky Willy.
Jacky Willy. Excuse me.
I did ask at the end of the last episode, was that his name?
Now, well, that's debatable. He wouldn't admit to it. So, Jacky Willy I first met, I think it was a Sunday night, a Sunday evening, and they, in Nullarbor in Gove, they had the cinemas there, and the single fellas, and they put on, I think we saw Grease there. When Grease came to the movies there, after it came out everywhere else. And it was a Sunday night, and I got a call. I was working by myself. The sergeant was at the station, and I went by myself, as I often did, in the truck. Call to a fellow urinating in the cinema in a rubbish can in the foyer. And the cinema's...
Charming.
Charming, yeah. So right around the corner, the cinema's right behind the police station in the shopping, a bit of a shopping area, and the cinema's there. And the old lady running she probably wasn't old, but she looked a bit older, running the cinema, and she's behind the counter. And I pulled up, and I did, instead of walking there, which I could have done, I took the police truck, long wheelbase Toyota, and I pulled up, and I got out, and I saw this fella, and he was only about 5 foot tall, fuzzy black hair, pair of black football shorts on, nothing else, and he's urinating he's pissing in the bin. Standing in the corner.
Inside the cinema.
In the foyer.
In the foyer.
And she points and goes, "That's him." I could tell straight away.
I figured it out.
I figured that one
myself.
out. I'm not even a detective, and I figured that one out. And I went over to him, and he finished, and he looked, and I went, so I was going to arrest him for offensive behaviour. Could be willful and obscene if he's got his, penis out, he's flashing it out. He wasn't. It was just offensive behaviour because she's there, she's offended. So I went to take hold of him.
Somebody has to clean that up later.
It's
right?
in the bin.
Yeah, but still, like, you don't want to be.
No, true. Anyway, I went to arrest him. I grabbed hold of him, and it was like one of those cartoons with the Tasmanian devil. He had not an ounce of fat on him. He'd be lucky if he weighed 50 kilos, I'd say. And I was 78 kilos. Lean, and he had, just like a lot of Indigenous people do, no fat on him, all abs, about 8 abdominal muscles, lean, pair of shorts on. I've grabbed him. We've gone rolling out the door over and over and over. On the ground, he's snarling and carrying on. And I've gone, oh my goodness me, what have I got hold of here? So I've managed to get him in a rear chokehold and got the handcuffs on him and got him in the back of the truck. Got back to the police station. I'm shaking a bit. I pulled up, and Bob Hayden, my mate, was in there, the sergeant. And I said, mate, you're going to have to give me a hand with this fella. And he took a look at him. He goes, there's nothing to him. So we got him out, and it was pretty good. And I took the handcuffs off him. And first thing I noted was he had no front teeth. The top front teeth were gone. And he had like elongated canine incisors. His canines were quite long. And he's snarling at me. And I went, oh, this is not going well. And he calmed down. I'm not sure whether he'd been drinking or not. I couldn't tell. But anyway, we went another round, settled him down, and I had to fingerprint him, which is because he's been charged, and I put him in the cells. So I fingerprinted him, and then the fingerprints get sent away. I couldn't get a name from him, I don't think, at the time. He didn't speak, didn't say much, didn't say anything. Put him in the cells, and I charged him with offensive, and after 8 hours, in case he was intoxicated, I'm going to bail him out, self-bail.
So you weren't even sure at that point if he was...
No, I wasn't sure. I couldn't tell whether he was intoxicated. The way he was fighting, he didn't look, and he wasn't staggering. He had shown no signs of alcohol impairment, that's for sure. Anyway, I let him out, or somebody let him out, can't remember whether he got released. He was hanging around. He just walked into town. He just turned up in town. He wasn't a local. I don't know who knew him. Anyway, his fingerprint history came back with this name, Jacky Willy. And he'd been arrested for a sexual assault over near Darwin. Settlement over there. And what they'd done as punishment for him, they'd sent him to an outstation. They dumped him in Arnhem Land and said, you're going to go and live out there in the wilds of Arnhem Land. And he, I think, walked across Arnhem Land from the middle of Arnhem Land to get to Nullarbor. He walked into town. I don't know how there's no other way he could get there. So he's walked in.
So that was the punishment under
the punishment tribal... I think that they took into account some tribal measures, it must have been, because it was a bit... I couldn't really understand it, but when I spoke to him later, tried to speak, and he would never admit to that name. He just went, no, it's not me, it's sort of, just shook his head. And he was in town, and I'd see him around. I would go to do a patrol of the Walkabout Hotel garden bar of an afternoon, and they'd be drinking in there. It was all, because the garden bar was for the Indigenous people, the locals, but there's no dress regulations because they just all had football shorts on. It's hot. It's always hot and humid. Nobody had shoes. Not many had a T-shirt or a shirt. They might have had a singlet or a shirt on of some sort, but usually all had football shorts, little black football, white shorts or whatever. And I walk in the back door, and the garden bar had a big wall around it and a bit of a covered area where the bar was, and they all just used to sit around in this, what used to be a garden bar. There was no tables or chairs or anything. It was just open concrete. A couple of palms in the back, I think. And as I walked in this day, he's sitting just inside the door. I don't think he drank. I can't remember him drinking. Anyway, he jumped up and he's right on my left shoulder following me. I saw him there and I'm going, what's going on? And I'd stop to talk to somebody. I'd stop, check on them. Number on there. How are you? Mine Mark. Nah, Dolanja, what are you doing? They go up drinking beer, they'd say.
And so did you feel a bit threatened?
No, I was watching him like out of the corner of my eye because I didn't want to, appear like I was. And I went to speak to somebody, and he snarled at them, like this snarl, and he's baring these teeth, and these guys, these other Aboriginal guys, are going, oh yeah. And I'd walk around, and as I got back to the door, boom, he just popped back next to the gate and sat there. He was like a guard dog. He was guarding me. Oh. I'm going, oh, this is a bit strange. But before, what happened, we got a call, and Bob and I were working again. I think it just happened to be Saturday or Sunday night, I think, or during the week. It could have been a Tuesday for that, but it just feels like it was a weekend. We got a call that there's a guy walking along out to the ski beach, out to the wharf, with a carton of beer on his shoulder and kicking at cars when they came past, trying to kick cars. Maybe the stop might have. So Bob said to me, look, we won't take the truck. The detective vehicle was a Holden station wagon. It's automatic, we're on the bitumen road. There's only a bit of bitumen here. We'll take that. I'm driving, so we're driving along out Wallaby Beach Road, out the Wallaby Beach. And it's dark, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night or something. And as we go past, I see, as I'm sort of going past, there's this guy with a carton of beer on his shoulder, walking along. I go, that's it. And I pulled up, and Bob's jumped out with his torch. And because I'm pulling the car up and parking it and whatnot, Bob, be careful. And I hardly got the words out of my mouth when I see Bob and this Jacky Willy rolling down off the side of the road down this embankment over and over, and Bob fighting for his life.
So just like a repeat of what happened at the cinema
and
review.
I'm running behind him laughing. I was laughing a bit because it did look funny. And Bob was pretty handy, and he's going, I could see him struggling. So we both got our hands, and he was so strong, this fella. He's so strong. We got a pair of handcuffs on him. And then Bob's put him in the back of the car, and he's sitting, put him behind me in the seat. He's handcuffed with his hands behind. He's sitting next to him because it was just the easiest way to get him in. And there's Jacky Willy's snarling at him and showing these big front teeth missing. And trying to come over, and Bob shoved him back across the other side of the car, and this Jacky Willy snarling at him and carrying on. So we got back to the police station, and we're charging him. We put him in for probably drunk and disorderly, and we had to wrestle him again, I think, getting him into the cells. We got him in the cells, and we left him there for 8 hours, and then he was released. But I was trying to make some inquiries and find out what was going on. No one knew him, or he just slept on the ground in town. I would see him.
So none of the locals
really had much to do with it. I knew him. I didn't speak to him.
Okay.
And I think they were frightened of him as well.
Okay.
Now there's a tribe or clan in Arnhem Land that, as part of the initiation, they knock the front teeth out with a piece of wood and like a chisel, and they pop the two front teeth out. When you're young, when you've got your front incisors, as part of initiation. And I think he was from that clan. And they sort of get these long fangs. The incisors tend, whether they look longer or they just are longer, I don't know. Whether it's some sort of anomaly. And anyway, I got a call, and I know this was Sunday night. I got a call because we work one out on a Sunday night if we're short or whatever. I got a call up to the single men's quarters up at Captain Cook Hostel
And these were all what we call dongers. They were just individual, like building block units, single units, wooden, tin, pretty rustic for contractors. They weren't working for Naval. They were working for other companies that were contracted by Navalco. Mm-hmm. And these guys would come in. They were pretty rough. A lot of them were Eastern European, Yugoslavs, Macedonians, all those, some Greeks, and just different people, nationalities who were hard men, doing this hard work. Mm-hmm. And they'd taken a couple of girls, the local Indigenous girls, into the quarters, offered them alcohol and wouldn't let them out.
Oh.
So a couple of the Indigenous Aboriginal people came down to the police station and told me. Mm-hmm. And I drove up there, and it's dark, it's 10 o'clock at night. I got out, and there's about 6 or 8 of these workers, miners there. And I said, bring the girls out. And I had a few of the Aboriginal blokes behind me. They were there, and they sort of got bits of wood sticks and probably a couple of nullas or something they picked up around the place. But they still don't want to take these fellas on, but they're trying to have a show of force, and they're standing behind me. And I said, send the girls out. And they looked at me and they said, you're by yourself. What are you going to do? And this Jacky Willy's popped up behind me, right behind me. And he's growled and he's gone, he's just snarling. And they took one. I said to him, I said, you better go and get some more blokes. They took one look at him with his snarling face, 5 foot tall, skinny, wringing wet, just looked. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention when I first started talking to him. He had a mop of curly black hair. And when I stand talking to him, it was alive, it was moving, it was full of lice.
Oh, no.
His head was full of lice, and it was just a moving mass. And I'm standing, and I started scratching, just looking at him. I could see all these white lice crawling around his head. It didn't bother him. And I just went, oh, my God, that must be annoying, but didn't worry him. And your head's scratching now. And he's standing there, snarling at these blokes from about 20 foot away. And they went, oh, it's not worth it. And they sent the girls out, and I got back in. And then he just disappeared from town.
So did you know he was there at that point in time?
No, he just came out of the dark. He just appeared out of the dark.
And then he was next to you again.
He just appeared out of the dark. And then he was gone from the town.
Did that give you any confidence having him there as
of course.
A backup?
That's what I said. You better go and get some more blokes.
Yeah.
Because I knew he was protecting me. And goodness knows what diseases he had. If he bit them, they're going to be all diseased up as well. He could have had anything going on in him. And then he just disappeared out of town. One day he was there, the next day he wasn't. I didn't see him around, never got in trouble with it anymore. And he was gone.
Oh.
Walked out into the Arnhem Land somewhere.
Oh, back into Arnhem Land.
Just obviously.
So I'm imagining it wouldn't be very nice, easy to navigate country out there.
No.
It would be a tough...
Yeah, it'd be a big walk. I don't know where he went or how he got there. He had no money I knew of. He didn't have any. He was just living. Probably somebody was giving him food. A lot of them go through the scraps, go through the bins at Gove House at the single men's quarters. They go in there because good food got thrown away. Mm-hmm. They'd help themselves. They'd have, catch a bit of... They loved stingray. They get a stingray off the beach and put it in a pan. They'd eat the wings off the stingray. They'd boil that. They'd have a bit of meat they'd get from somewhere. Boil that up in a billy. It's all boiled. Yeah, so that was Jacky Willy.
So... Yeah, we still don't really know who
I don't know who he was or
whether he was Jacky Willy.
He came from somewhere over near Darwin. I can't remember the settlement. The name was on his criminal history. Because we have to send the fingerprints over because in case people are wanted for something, that we found that out. I arrested a fella one night, a white fella, off a prawn boat or a barra fisherman, young fella, and he was on the grog. He was only about 19 or 20, and he was fighting like he was wild. And it took me all my time to get him under control and get him in the cells and get him under control. And I did a fingerprint check on him. I kept him in custody. I think he got the sack off a prawn boat
off a barra boat for fighting on board once they got some alcohol in him. Once he sobered up, he was all right. And he was got his history back, and he killed 3 people in Perth, and they weren't seeking his extradition at that stage. They said, let him go. I asked him about it. I said, what happened? He goes, well, I'm at home. He lived in Fremantle, or Fremantle as they call it. I'm upstairs in his apartment, or what do you call it? In his room, up in a flat, and there was a fight downstairs, and he went down and told them to shut up, and they bashed him. So he ran back upstairs, grabbed a knife, come down, and just stabbed everybody.
Oh.
And 3 of them died, as it was like bordering on self-defence or whatever. But he was mad. He dead set was mad, and I never turned my back on him, and I was happy to let him go as well. I went, you can go now.
Yeah.
And he went down to the harbour and got on a boat and went. When we got his history, he'd been charged and he'd taken off from WA, as a lot of people do. Got on a barra fishing boat or a prawn boat, and he said, oh yeah, no, I was really angry, and I just raced down and stabbed them in a frenzy. I went, okay. He's about 19, I think, from memory. Yeah, scary.
Yeah,
some scary people. We had a couple of stabbings up there. Another fellow got stabbed in the TAB, and I had to end up having to guard him, the offender, because the Romanians. He was actually had been a bouncer in King's Cross, the offender. Bad man. And he stabbed another fella, and the 2 factions, and then the Albanians group wanted to come and we had to guard him in the police cells because they were going to send someone, they were going to come and kill him. So I'm armed with a shotgun.
So
and
the offender
they wanted to kill the offender.
Pay back on him.
So we had to fly him out. He got charged with manslaughter. Yeah. And I'm guarding him all night, and one of the Albanians who I knew said, if you just go for a walk for half an hour, we'll be all right. And I'm going, I can't do that.
We'll sort him out.
I go, no. He was happy to have a guard there, was all night sitting there with a shotgun.
Wow.
Mm.
Pretty wild place up there.
It's wild.
Back then.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like now, probably.
Even more wild, I think.
Is that...
Yeah. Some of the settlements are Alice Springs, Wadio, Al-Karangi, Yuendamu, Papunya, probably pretty wild. You just don't hear about it.
Okay. It sounds like there's a lot of people attracted there for work, but like tough.
But and it was like it was a tough country. It's a hard country.
Yeah, because you're not going to
cold.
Go
Alice Springs freezing cold, hot in the summer, cold in the winter. Then you got up all around the Pilbara, all that way, the Gulf country, Borroloola, where they mine gold, the fishing. You know, it's not easy. Hot, humid, pretty tough.
So Jacky Willy.
God bless him.
Do you think he had mental problems? Like,
no, I don't think so.
No,
just tough, just hard. That's the existence.
Very intimidating.
That's the existence. Like you and I die. He just lived where most people die, living on nothing, whatever he can find to eat. Yeah. Sleeping on the ground. I just see him sleeping on the concrete. Yeah, he's sound asleep. Get up, shake himself, wander off.
We wouldn't be able to move.
No, we couldn't do it. Wouldn't be able to move. Don't live long either. You know, you're old at 30.
Yeah.
But that's the life.
Tough life.
Mm.
And it's weird how he just disappeared.
Went.
So you think he just wandered off and went?
I think so. I think he didn't fit in there. Nothing happened. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think anyone was game to do anything to him.
So the other locals were like a bit...
They just a bit standoffish because he didn't speak. I didn't hear him speak much. He probably did. He'd pick up the dialect. He didn't speak, too many, like 2 or 3 words. That's about all. I didn't have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I interviewed him. It was just all physical. And because I maybe got the best of him, he respected me. And that was a lot of luck and a bit of skill.
because he was tough enough.
Yeah. And I guess you developed a bit of respect for him in the same way, right?
I did. As I said, I had to get a chokehold.
You and Bob.
Yeah, rear chokehold, because otherwise he'd be on top of me.
Do you think he's one of the most unforgettable characters?
He's one.
Across?
He's up there. There's a couple.
Yeah.
He's up there because he was. Even though just that 2 or 3 incidents with him, 2 violent and 1 where he's backing me up.
Yeah.
And then walking around the hotel.
Or 2, yeah.
Yeah, but the 2 where I was involved with him, and then the 3rd time he was back up. He's backing me up, and that's what I mean. There was no need. You'd think he'd be happy to see me get a flogging, but he didn't. No, they don't work like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he might have muttered, "I'll help you, constable." That's all he said. "I'll help you, constable." Okay. I go, "That'll do me."
Yeah.
When he said, "I'll help you," I said,
"He did, didn't he?"
I said, "You better get some more blokes."
Yeah.
Can't believe that. You can't make this up.
No, you can't.
And these guys just looking, they were shock on their face.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And it's a big deal taking on a copper. I wasn't armed. I didn't have a firearm.
Yeah.
I had a pair of handcuffs and that was it. That's the way you did it.
Yeah.
Now you know the gas and gun and taser, and you got more equipment than you poke a stick at.
And like
we didn't get that luxury.
They were all like tough, hard men as well.
Yeah, tough men.
So for them to be a bit intimidated, he must have been.
Yeah, I had more front than David Jones sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't get my ambitions and abilities mixed up sometimes, but I was there to do a job. I remember I was very new, and I got called across to a camp just across the road from the police station, and I did lose this fight. And there was a white fella there, a couple of white fellas, gone over to the Aboriginal camp where they were camped near the single men's quarters and taken them alcohol, which is a no-no. They're not illegal or anything. But then this fella started creating problems. And I went across there. I think I might have made a mistake too. And I think the first time, I took the detective's vehicle too. And I just thought I was just going to move him on. And this guy jumped me. This white fella jumped me. I couldn't get anything on top of him. And he had his mate there. And in the end, his mate was going to try and help me arrest him. This guy just went off. He was that mad on alcohol and going off like a maniac. So I had to retreat. So I left, went back to the police station, and I woke up one of the guys in the single men's quarters that was there.
Oh.
Tony. I said, "Come and give me a hand." So we went across there, and between Tony and I and his mate, we actually got him arrested. Got the cuffs on him, got him back to the police station. I was brand new. I'd been in the cops a couple of weeks. I'm working night shift by myself. I think I've been in the job a couple of months, if that, brand new. And in the morning, I'm on night shift. I'm due to finish at 8 o'clock, and the boss came in. They called him Jabba Jaws. This Jaws, his name was. That was his nickname. He could talk. And he's instead of trying to help me, he's going, "Well, what did you arrest him for? What's your powers? What offence did he committed? You know?" And I'm not sure. I think it was offensive behaviour. I think he swore at me or did something, and then it was assault, police, resist arrest, all this. So I gave him the trifecta. What we call the trifecta was offensive, assault, police, resist arrest. And anyway, he pleaded not guilty, and he went to court. And I jumped the box to give the evidence, and he's defending himself in court. And I'm, struggling, haven't been to court much, and it's quite daunting. And the magistrate comes from, who's not really pro-police. A lot of the magistrates came over in the days. Some were. This guy wasn't very pro-police. He's more pro-Indigenous, which is fine. And I went, so I'm going through my evidence, and this guy's asking me questions. And he's going, and I remember it, this is one of the questions. He said, "If I was so violent, why didn't you handcuff me?" And the magistrate pulled his glasses down, glared at him, and said,
Mr. So-and-so, if you think the police need to handcuff you to control you, you have got a very big problem. And he went, oh, I've asked the wrong question. And I jumped in and said, look, putting handcuffs can be very dangerous. If I get one cuff on you and you start swinging it around, someone could lose an eye, get seriously injured. And that's when the magistrate... Anyway, he decided, no more questions. And he got convicted and fined, whatever it was. And I didn't have any more. But he was one guy I was out of my depth with. You know. And I was just using enough force to try and arrest him without, with minimum force, as they say. So I was just combating the force. I should have gone in harder and probably, gone a bit harder. But I was brand new and didn't know how far to go, what to do. I soon learned a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a shock to the ego. That one, I had to make a tactical retreat, and that's what you do sometimes. But I went back once I had backup. So 2's not twice as good; it's 10 times as good. When you're working by yourself, you sometimes have to make decisions. Do we go in or do we back away?
Well, I guess it's not very common, especially like in the cities or whatever. You'll never be on your own, would you?
Except when you're a dog handler.
Oh, when you're a dog handler. You got your dog.
He's in the back of the car.
Oh.
What's the first thing you'll do? Get out, find out what's going on. That's happened to me. We'll talk. That's happened to me. I've been jumped when I get out the car. And the dog's in the back of the car screaming, trying to get out. I'm fighting the bloke in the front of the hotel and the dog's, and I'm yelling out, let my dog out. No one would let him out. And the dog's trying to get out in the back of the car. That's why, Americans have a popper.
That opens
the car door remotely from about 400 metres away. And you just pop.
We don't have that here now?
Maybe the new cars do, but we didn't. We had them in the back of a cage with the back down. So they were in the back of a station wagon with a cage across it. You had to lift up the back of the station wagon, then lift up the cage and get the dog out. It was quite a convoluted thing. Whereas now they've got a sliding door between in the crate and the front of the police car.
Oh, okay.
They can leave the window down, dog can come out straight out the window.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would be pretty.
Yeah, and it's happened to a few dog handlers it's happened to a few dog handlers that have gotten bashed and they've got out, and it's just turned on straight away. You first thing I'd do is jump out and get the dog out, but if you don't get that luxury, if you don't know what's going on, it's just you're going to get out to talk to someone, and he turns it on. Dog's in the back of the car. Most times. I learnt I would jump out, I'd get the dog out anyway on lead and then go over and talk to him. I could put him in a down. Better to have him and not need it than need it and not have it. But I have been caught out a couple of times with when it just goes very quickly from nothing to full on.
Yeah.
Yep, that happens.
I'm sure we'll hear about that in later episodes. So... moving on back to the Northern Territory.
Yes.
There was a story about... this is also a new story, actually.
New story.
Crown and Anchor.
Crown and Anchor. But people mightn't buy the book.
Well, if we tell all the stories...
We tell the stories, they might go, we don't need to buy the book. Oh. But anyway, we'll that's all right. I don't make any money out of the selling the books. I'd like to.
Some people like to...
read the words, and there's a little bit more in it.
Yeah,
I'll try and put some more in it. Some padding. Was a warm autumn day. Not that there's any autumn in the Territory. Was either the wet or the dry. A bit of background here. Yeah, this one here about the Crown and Anchor game. Just Crown and Anchor was a good game, but I played it once at a porn and prawn night for the as a fundraiser for the football team in Darwin. But they're running the Crown and Anchor game up in the single. Same thing up at Captain Cook residence where the single men, and because they're making good money and there's nothing really to spend it on, but you got the TAB there and, gambling, and there's alcohol and there's not much else going.
I thought this was going to be another seafaring story.
No, seafaring, yeah, because Crown and Anchor.
I'm like, this
Crown and Anchor is a game
sailors.
that you have either a carpet or a sheet of material, and on it is Crown, an anchor, king, ace, queen. There's different card things, and you bet, and then you have 2 dice so you get 2 dice with the crown, with anchor, and you bet on whether it's going to come up crown or anchor, and the others you don't win, sort of thing.
Is it a bit like, I don't know much about card games. It sounds like a combination of poker and 2-up.
It's a bit like poker and roulette or 2-up, yeah, but more so than that. I don't know where it eventually. I think it's probably a naval game or something like that, named Crown and Anchor, but they had the crown and you had the anchor, so it may be a naval game. And they were running this crown. We didn't know. They were running 2 sorts of things. There was card games, and they played, a lot of the Greeks, they play this game called Manila, or they play Pharaoh, and there's games that were in the acts that were illegal. And in the academy, they teach you this. That these illegal games are Fantan, Pharaoh, and Manila's one. Oh, I'm going, what are they? And the instructors go, we don't know what they are. You could probably look them up now and they tell you. This was just a couple of games I remember.
My parents used to play Manila.
Yeah, Manila. Pharaoh.
Yeah,
it's a Greek. The Greeks love it, and I don't understand it. Pharaoh, Fantan, Manila, Crown and Anchor. So it wasn't like you could play poker and whatnot, but these games were specifically in the act as illegal games that you couldn't play at clubs.
Was this just in the Northern Territory?
Yeah, as far as I know. I don't know about anywhere else.
It must have been a bit of a problem up there because
it was in the act.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if
it was in the like the gaming act. And I remember in the academy, I'm going, I've never even heard of these games, didn't even know. And I said to one of the instructors, what's Fantan? He goes, I don't know, but it's a card game. Or what's Pharaoh? I don't know. It's another game. I don't think Pharaoh is a card game, but something you could Google them now and it'd tell you. Google tells you everything.
So you wouldn't
now.
know if they're playing solitaire.
I wouldn't know. And I walk in and I go,
games.
but I knew about Manila. I didn't know the game, so I walk in. I saw I walked into the single men's quarters there, and I saw all this money and cards, and I go, "You blokes playing Manila?" And all the money sort of went off the table. And I said, "I'm not here to worry. I'm not worried about it. I don't care what you're doing." They went, "Oh, because." A, I don't know what the rules are, and B, I don't care if you're playing cards. You're minding your own business here. You're not causing any dramas. You're losing your money. But anyway, unbeknownst to me, they've been running this Crown and Anchor game every Friday night. And a Greek fella, I think he was running it too. Well, he came down to see me this day, and he said to me, I ran a Crown and Anchor game last night. And, just straight up about it. And I go, well, it's a legal game. He goes, yeah. He said, no, I think he was running the game, and he won about $3,000, which is a lot of money. 1980, 79, 80, 81. And I had it on my bedside table, and because there's no air, they had fans there, but there was no air conditioning. And he had his window open. They got the wind-out windows, the louver windows. And he said to me, I got up and the money's gone. And I think I know who took it. How do you know? He goes, there's a guy who's been playing Crown and Anchor every week, and he lost a lot of money. He lost all his money last couple of weeks. And he lost a lot last night. And he's leaving today. He's flying out.
Oh.
I went, right. So I went up to his room and looked, and you'd be able to just reach in through the window, not too difficult, get the money and go. And they've all been drinking, so he was drunk. And anyway, I'm going, all right, so I find out this bloke's name. And he worked for a contractor, and he's flying back to Melbourne that day. I get on the Mickey Mouse Airlines, the old MMA, and they go, yeah, he's flying out, and he's out the airport. The airport is just a little hut out there. It's got a big strip because we used to take the 727s, could land on it. So it's a big 600
foot runway or whatever. It'll take big planes. And there's one flight sort of in a day and one out a day, one in and out, I think. And I go out there and he's got his suitcase packed with all his stuff. And I go, Raymond. Yeah. I said, mate, I want to speak to you. He said, oh, yeah, no worries. About stealing. No, nothing about it. All right, come back to the police station. And he's got a bit of time for his plane to go. He can't say no. I'm taking him back to the police. I'm arresting him on suspicion. Anyways. Mm-hmm. So I take him back to the police station. He's got a big suitcase. I had all this stuff in it. And I sit him down. I'm being nice to him. I'm going, mate, what's going on? He goes, oh, nothing, blah, blah, blah. Telling me, just talking. I said, all right, get your bag up, get his bag and go through it. Nothing. Where's your wallet? Got a wallet. He's got nothing in it. He's got his plane ticket. Got not much money. I said, strip off. So he gets undressed. Down to his jocks. Not a pleasant sight. I go through his pockets. And I just happen to look and see a corner of a $20 note sticking out the corner of his underwear. Oh, no. I go, take it out. He goes, what? I said, take it out. And he's reached down and pulled out a wad of money.
Oh.
I go, all of it. He pulled it and he's got about over $2,000 and he's bought the plane ticket with some of the cash.
Very suspicious.
Oh, yeah. So anyway, I sit him down and I do a record of interview on him. Mm-hmm. As I've spoken to, I think, about before, where I type down the questions, I ask him the question, he tells me the answer, I type the answer down. It's quite laborious, but it's a legal thing we have to do. Record of interview, and then I ask him, his name, date of birth, his history, all this, and I go through and establish who he is, his bona fides, and then I go, can you tell me what happened? And he fesses up. He says, yeah, I've been working here for 3 months. I've been losing crown and anchor, which you lose a lot of money very quickly. When I played the game, I played with a fella, and I'd never played. He goes, we got to keep doubling up. So if you make a $20 bet, the next bet's got to be 40, it's got to be 80, and then eventually, and I go, no, it might keep coming up, crown instead of anchor, time and time again, like two up. Mm-hmm. You get 23 heads in a row. 23 anchors. I'm going, we're up to, $500 and we haven't, and you're only going to get your money back. So he said, I lost all the money, been up here working, married. I didn't like him. Something about him I didn't like. He was a grub. I didn't like him. Anyway, I thought he'd give me a false name, but I couldn't prove it because he had no ID. He gave me this name, Raymond James, blah, blah, blah. And I went, no way of checking, So I charged him with larceny from a dwelling. I couldn't charge him with break, enter and steal because the legalities of it, break, enter, you must break the seal. Now, if the window had been closed and he'd opened the window, that's breaking the seal. I go, yeah, and put his hand through, I could charge him with break, enter and steal. It's important to charge people with the right offence because if you don't cover all the points of proof, you'll lose it at court.
Yeah.
So I charged him with larceny, stealing from a dwelling, because it was a dwelling. I could prove it was a dwelling. There's a person living there. It's a residence, and the larceny is the stealing of the money, the cash, and so I was happy with that. But because he was leaving, and I didn't think I'd get him back for court, I bail refused him. And we kept him in the cells a few days, which is not a good place to be in Nullarbor cells. And he said to me, because there was no telephone, he couldn't ring out or anything. He said, can I write my wife a letter? Tell her what's happening. I go, yeah. So he writes this letter, Dale. And I read it. Of course, I've opened it and read it. Making sure. And he said, Dale, you'll never guess what happened. Me and a mate got into a fight in the pub and we got in this brawl and we smashed the place up. And I've been arrested and they keep me because of the damage, and the assault, bashing. And I posted the letter off and I went to him, I took his meal to him. I said, I sent your letter off. He goes, oh, thank you. I said,
mate, what'd you tell your missus? He goes, I told her the truth. I said, told her you steal. I said, I would have made up something. I would have said I got in a fight in a pub or something and smashed the place up. Yeah. And he went, no.
Oh, you still didn't.
Still stuck with that. I went, yeah, no worries. So then, because court's only once a month, I sent him on remand to Darwin. He flew back and court was on, went before the court, pled guilty, got a fine. You don't have to pay that straight away.
So he pled guilty.
Pled guilty. Yeah,
I'm just denying it.
Oh no, that's to his wife. Yeah, but
yeah.
he pled guilty. She's not going to. Then he left the.
But
flew back to. He was from Victoria. But she sent.
Know.
So I had his name as Raymond James surname, but she said on the letter. I read the letter when it came back. Obviously,
so she wrote a letter back.
She wrote a letter back, and it said, "Dear Jamie." This is why I thought he'd give me a false name. I just had a feeling the wrong name, and I said, why didn't you call him Ray? I know his middle name was James. So he might be.
Yeah.
But he called himself Ray. He didn't call himself James or Jimmy or Jamie. So maybe it was something. And I just went, why she got Jamie? And he goes, oh, that's my name. I said, it's Raymond. Right. He goes, oh, I don't know. But so he didn't have a fingerprint history come back. He was probably a clean skin, I don't know, from Victoria. Mm-hmm. We might have had
so clean
Victoria.
skin.
Clean skin means no offences in the Northern Territory. And he just flew back to Victoria, never to be seen again, and probably didn't pay his fine and probably had an outstanding warrant if he ever came back. Because they would take out a warrant he'd be arrested.
Probably told his wife he lost his wallet in the pub brawl too. That's where all his money went.
I don't know what he's told. That's because, maybe he's been sending a bit of money home. I don't know. But hopefully he did. But yeah, that's what happens.
I was thinking, because that game is illegal.
Yeah.
And the other guy obtained that money illegally.
You think I should have...
Would there be some implication around...
No, because...
No, but I mean, if he's stealing something that was already obtained illegally, does that person really...
But no, because the money belonged to him. It's not like if it was part of a criminal enterprise, but then I could probably... But why was I going to do that?
No,
I'm not going to then go, this is illegal earnings, you're not going... He's running the Crown and Anchor game, good luck to him. And he, after the money that I got back, after the court, mate, he can come and sign for it. It's just like it's stealing his money.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't put, the court doesn't know it's illegal gains.
Yeah.
Gained illegally. He just gets his money back, whatever it was, $2,500 or a couple of $1,000 less the airfare or whatever he took out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's, yeah. I know what you're pretty
I should
tough.
be a solicitor. Hey?
You're pretty tough trying to take his money off him. Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
not
you're
from
hard.
that point of view.
Oh, you're just saying, well, no, how can he steal illegal?
No.
Could he say his defence be, no, I stole?
Yeah.
No, because you're still stealing.
Yeah, okay.
The property,
matter if it's...
the property of another.
Yeah. Okay.
It's in his possession.
Yeah.
Like, even if the victim had stolen the money, right, and then it's in his possession.
And he stole it back?
No, not he stole it back, but he stole it from him. He's still stealing.
Yeah.
It's then you're getting in the realms of high court matters.
Oh, okay. In the wrong job.
In the wrong job, yeah, Solicitor Deb. I put it to you, my lord, that he couldn't have stolen it. It was illegally obtained. He just wanted to he just pleaded guilty and wanted to get out, because then he's got to either get legal aid and they've got to fly in and they're going to say, just plead to this.
Okay.
And he fessed up in the record of interview. He didn't deny it from
No, that's right. It was just his wife didn't know.
Yeah, he thought, well, she's not going to find out. He just comes home and goes, guess what? They took they fined me all my money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know that money I earned? The government took it. He's that good. He's going to tell lies.
Yeah. That's
anyway,
true.
he might be talking about me too, going, this ratbag copper.
Yeah.
Stripped me down. Made me strip down in the interview room. But because I was a bit unsure how to go with it when I got him back, and I searched his bags and I got one of the senior constables there. He went in and spoke to him. He goes, "No, I don't think he did it."
Oh.
I went, "Oh, rightio." He goes, "No, I don't think he did it." And I went, "Oh, dear." All right. Anyway, I got last ditch effort. Strip off. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. Could have had a weapon.
And you would have missed.
Would have missed the money. I wasn't. And I probably would have made him taking his jocks off. We usually did, if I needed to. We're in a room, in the interview room. I'd strip him off. This is where young coppers, and when I first came to New South Wales and I was in the academy, that a lot of police, especially women, are embarrassed to search, and crooks know that, and they always put stuff around their groin in places, and then they go, "You're right," when you try and search them. "You're right there, you're a puff or something."
Yeah.
Because they're going to hide things where you're not going to look. No. When I was guarding a prisoner, he wanted to take a leak or something more, I stood right there. "You right?" I go, "Yes, I am, mate." Because you're not embarrassed. I'm not going to be embarrassed. I go, "Oh, just wait outside." Next thing he's out the window and gone, which has happened. "Oh, sorry, he's run away."
Yeah.
"Why weren't you watching him?" "Oh, because he was having a leak."
He's embarrassed.
I was embarrassed,
Well, I was embarrassed, yeah.
So, and it was funny, the anomaly with the police was that a female could search a male prisoner, but a male couldn't search a female. You had to get a female to female, which was fair enough. But the females could search the males. And a lot of the crooks used to love it. You go, "Search him, constable." "Oh, yeah, come on, yeah." And they loved it. They play up a bit. And the good police women would just go, "Mate, it's nothing."
Yeah.
Nothing I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
Things like that. They just put them in their place. And during the New South Wales academy, the academy they called it there, whatever, the police academy, we were doing an exercise, just jumping forward, and I had a small knife, and I hid it in my front pocket, and the person playing the police, it was the policewoman, missed it, and I pulled it out. I went, "What about this?" She goes, "Oh." I said, "Yeah." And she would probably never forget that. Search them really well. You're gonna miss things if you're not careful. Drugs, evidence, knife, weapon. You come back, you put them in the back of the truck, and then you come and check the truck after, and then you find a gun in there or a knife that they've discarded, drugs, and then they go, "It wasn't mine." You inspect it every time. You could say, "Well, there was nothing there before," but still, the court might go, "Well, are you sure you checked it before? It could have been someone else's."
Somebody else that was in the back.
You could find a bloody
I guess it
stuff
would be
behind the seats.
It would be like
confronting.
Weird if you're new on the job.
It is. It is weird. Like checking there. Like you've got nice thick hair. You imagine how much stuff you can hide in there.
Yeah, I've been pulled up at the airport a few times.
Yep.
Like but I've had my hair up in a bun.
Yep.
They make me
because
they've said, "Can I check your bun?"
Yes.
Your hair.
I check your buns. Yes.
Check your bun.
Because you can.
Yeah, my hair
because it's thick, and you could put a knife. You could put a gun. You could nearly put. You got so much hair, you could put a rocket launcher in there just about. I got nothing for those people who are listening at home. I got a shaved head. I can't hide anything.
That's why you befriended me, so I can go.
Yeah, you can go on.
Yeah,
just take this rocket launcher in the back of your bun for me, please.
But yeah, it would be.
It is. Or you can up in your ringlets so you can hide stuff.
It would be weird searching people.
It is.
But I guess as you get, it'd be nothing after a while. But also you see the.
And the techniques we use in the bladed method and the crush method, make sure and stick. And back in the day, a lot of junkies would put needles in their clothing, hide them in their clothing, in their hair, and you stab yourself.
Yeah.
So we'd have stick gloves.
So that prevents it.
Prevents, getting needle stick gloves and getting stuck. And then what they did, one stage, when I was at Campbelltown, what the junkies were doing, the stolen cars, and then they were putting syringes up under the seat on the driver's seat of the car, knowing that when the cops got in, the first thing they do is sit on the seat to check the car. Hop in, you'd naturally sit on it. So you had to be very careful of that. They got really nasty things they started doing,
and then you get a needle stick injury, you've got, a few months of worry, whether it's Hep B, Hep C, AIDS, all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It was, and that's why even now, you hear the Americans, have you got anything that's going to stick me or stab me or hurt me? Any weapons, guns, explosives, rocket launchers? No, have nothing, no weapons. They ask you up front. Mm-hmm. And then they've got more charges, like if you deny it and then they find one, they go, well, you didn't tell me about this. But, you just got to be so careful. We've had coppers, I had a mate nearly stabbed because they put the crook in the back of the truck with his carry bag, and he had a big hunting knife in it. You wouldn't put his bag in there with him. You take that. You don't know who searched it. There's a sergeant there, and luckily the other sergeant, when the guy come out of the back of the truck, buried the crook with the knife in the concrete because he could have got stabbed. You've got to be so careful.
So sometimes you learn the hard way.
And the rule, there's 10 fatal errors when you're dealing with offenders, and one of them is failure to watch the hands. But a lot of people say watching the eyes because the eyes tell you where they're looking, but failure to watch the hands, because the hands are what's going to kill you. Not going to get killed by his looks, it's where he's looking with his hands. So you're watching the hands, and when they're looking, it's where they're usually going to run to.
Yeah,
escape.
Okay.
You see him looking over this way, going, or to draw you in. What are you looking at? No, you keep looking at him.
Yeah.
And the dog was great for that. Dog would be watching them, their body language.
Oh.
You go, watch it, and the dog would be going, oh, go on, move, I dare you. Go on, move. He goes, I'm not moving. I go, move very slowly. And that's what dogs were great equaliser with that. But searching prisoners, every time you dealt with a prisoner, you had to be on your guard the whole time.
Yeah.
And never get slack. And cops don't go home because they're not watching. And the guys that are super casual, the crooks, they're the ones you get more nervous about because they're trying to get you to relax.
Oh, okay.
If they're hyped up and you're all ready, but they're going, oh, boss, no, it's all good. No dramas. Yeah, you got me. I'm chilled. Look at me.
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, really. Height and the antenna's going up.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you being so compliant? A lot of times because they've got him, but other times you just don't know.
Something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just a lot of, things you learn through experience.
Well, you've got to learn it before a lot of times from somebody else's experience.
Okay.
And they'll teach you and tell you and things like that. And you can look at all the ingenious things where they've hollowed out shoes and where they hide things and all the rest of it. And they still will put it over you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. And you go,
see things you've never seen before.
There was a can opener that came out. I had one. It was an army can opener. Mm-hmm. And you put it in and it had a sharp bit on it and you could open cans. But the thing was, it was the perfect shape, somebody figured out, of a handcuff key.
Oh.
So you just used to cut the round bit off and it would go in and you could
unlock the key.
Unlock a handcuffs. Because all handcuff, there was two types of handcuff, peerless and saff-lock. And you either had the peerless or the saff-lock. I had saff-lock. Peerless were the old style, real old style, and then saff-lock. And now they've got a bigger hinged one. But the keys, they were all had to be keyed alike. But unless you had a peerless, some might have a peerless and a saff-lock key. But if you got a handcuff key, well, the crooks could get them too.
Yeah.
They'd find them or steal them. I always had on my car keys. You had your own handcuff key on your key ring, and so long as and then cops who didn't double lock the handcuffs and they could be shimmed, you'd slip just a piece of plastic or something down or a straw and you could slip them off. Some of the crooks were really good at getting out of them.
Like magicians.
Like magicians. They practiced it, and when they did the four wheels, when they were transporting them to court, and they had a big box of handcuffs, and they'd handcuff them getting in at the jail, and then when they got out at court, these blokes would have the handcuffs and just put them in the box themselves. The transporting cops go, yeah, rightio. Here you go, boss. They just put the handcuffs in.
Wow. Okay.
We probably speak to a prison officer. I'll get Rusty on, who was a dog handler and prison officer, and he might be able to tell us some of his experiences.
Yeah,
We will
okay.
get him on.
That'll be
dealing
interesting.
with some good crims in jail.
Yeah, we're hoping to get a few people on to share.
Well, a bit of a
different
spoiler.
sides of the
We're going to get
story.
some different people on, and instead of just listening to me, I'll have somebody else. How are we going there?
Well, we did have one more story, but I'm not sure. Do you want to do that one now?
Have I done too much? It's a quick story.
All right, let's do
We'll
it.
have a quick story.
This might be the last one for the Northern Territory.
It might be.
So, all right, we'll make it.
Might be. That's what the Aboriginals used to say. Might be.
Might be. That means it's not.
It might be. You go on.
Okay, so now this one's in the book or no?
No.
No, a new story.
Yeah, I think so.
Indian Naval Cadet
Yes.
goes missing.
Goes missing.
1980.
1980. Yep.
You're with your
Bob.
good mate Bob.
Yep. We did a lot of jobs together. R.I.P.
And
Bob.
I think you received a telephone call that this cadet had gone missing after going for a swim.
Yes. So there was a ship full of Indian cadets, about 200 cadets, and these two had left the ship and gone up, and there's a spit, which is a sand, like an area of sand in the water, and they couldn't swim. They couldn't swim. A lot of these Indians can't swim. They can splash about, but they're not good swimmers. And they were on this spit, and he just got dragged off, taken off, boom, gone. And his mate went and raised the alarm, and we got called. We flew down there, Bob and I, and got this fella there. Where are you? And the tide there was really, really strong, and we got a fellow named Cyril. Cyril Brown was the guy, and he was he could scuba dive, and he was at the steelworks, and he turned up with some scuba tanks, and I'd never had a scuba tank on in my life. I did some snorkeling.
It's not really the same
Bob,
thing.
not the same. Bob could scuba dive, I think, and you had to have a PADI license. Like this. The PADI is a professional something divers. It's instructors. You got to have this PADI license to be able to hire tanks and dive and whatnot. All over the world. PADI, I think it's called. You do the PADI course. I think you do it in a weekend or a couple of hours now. Go in the pool and then you do open water. Anyway, so he gives me this tank, some flippers and a mask, and we're going to go and look for this guy. And the spit was, the sand was getting pulled away. Anyway, so we go in, and I don't know what I'm doing. I've got no idea. Bob's going into, and this Cyril, big strapping bloke, nice fella. Oh, he's mad keen. He's diving down. He comes back. He's got a watch, an underwater watch, and with a compass on it and telling him how much. I'm trying to get down, I think I had a weight belt on, and I'm trying to breathe. I kept sucking in air, and a regulator. I don't know what I'm doing, and I think I'm going to die myself. Like OH&S didn't exist.
No.
No one sort of said, even a quick lesson. Have you ever done this? No. Well, here, this is what you do. You breathe in, you breathe out. Okay, just do it. Nothing. So I'm frightened. I'm worried. Bob goes down, and you could not see your hand in front of your face. And he's doing everything by feel. So this Cyril goes down. He comes up and he goes, "It's 65 foot deep here, right? I couldn't even dive down 6 foot, let alone 65." He said, "I've been working along the bottom by compass." He's done a couple of runs, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the sun's starting. It's getting. This is in the harbour there. It's getting late.
So why can't you see in the water there? Like
because the water was so dark, it was so deep.
Deep, yeah.
And the sand, and there was no visibility. And it's late in the afternoon, so there's no sun penetrating. It's 4 o'clock. And I said to Bob, "Look, I'm frightened. I think we got to give this away. He goes, I think you're right. So he calls Cyril up. He comes up and we go. We grab a boat. We had the boat there, a little 16-foot Quintrex. We put his mate in the boat and we said, what we're going to... Oh, no, to lie. So we called it quits for that night because it got dark. And we said, tomorrow, Bob and I, we went and got a bottle, big juice bottle, and we filled it full of water so it was negative buoyancy, and we attached some of those Siloam nightsticks to it, glow sticks that we have. So when we're out in the bush, when we're doing bush work or something, you tie them to a tree. You could put them on your sleeve or on your and people could see these Siloam green sticks. They glow in the dark for a couple of hours. So we put these sticks on. We go down about the same time the next afternoon. We've got a boat. And I said to Bob, so I'm standing on this spit and I could see what happened. I stood on the spit only a few feet from the edge and I went. The sand went from under me. Oh. The water sucked it out. Bob's grabbed my arm. It's nearly pulled him in as I put this float in that we had. We wanted to see where it was going, and it took off across the other side of the harbour. It was being dragged by the current. Boom.
Straight away.
It was powerful. And I thought I was going to get sucked into this water. And then we saw the skipper of the pilot boat. There was a pilot boat there. He's called us over. He goes, you know where you guys were diving yesterday? He said, yeah. He said, about half an hour after you got out, a 10-foot crocodile surfaced.
No.
I said, what? He goes, you blokes are mad. A 10-foot croc surfaced right where you were half an hour later. Oh, we probably couldn't see one another. That was a good thing.
Lucky it was.
And you're pretty safe in the water. It's on the land. You're worse in the land, I think, when they can come up and grab you.
Really?
Yeah, so people who dive with crocodiles don't seem to have so much dramas when they're down there with them and they can see them. There's guys that dive with crocodiles and the crocodiles tend to ignore them. It's because it's not in their normal, hey, I don't attack people down here or things down here. They're usually up on the land. I come out, launch myself.
They attack turtles and stuff like that.
Yeah, but the turtles are swimming on the surface usually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so we're going. Oh,
I'm not going to test that theory
that makes me
out,
feel weird. So
way.
we get old mate and we put him in this boat and we go in the Quintrex and we're going across, and it ended up right on the other side, and there's a mangrove swamp over there. And I'm saying, and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon, starting to get dark. Oh. And I said, what's your mate's name? And he goes, Sanjeet or something. I go, call his name. He goes, Sanjeet. I said, he's not going to hear that. Yell his name out. So we're going, Sanjeet. And he yelled a couple of times. He goes, he's gone. What? That was it. He goes, he's gone. We didn't hear from the skipper of the boat. Nothing. No one came down. There was no big search party. So whether he got taken over there and he got trapped under something, or whether a croc got him, and the crabs would have got him. And then this guy in the boat left the next day. 200 cadets sailed away. Never heard of. Nothing ever said. It was probably a coroner's inquiry later on. I think if we bothered having one, because he's reported missing, but I don't know what they told his family or what happened, or whether he had just care factor 0. Oh. Even his mate didn't seem. He goes, oh, he's gone. He wasn't too upset about it, unless, I don't know, it could have been a ploy. He might have escaped. He might be running a 7-Eleven somewhere. But I don't think so. I've never thought of that till this day. I go, no, I don't think it was a trick, because where is he going to get it? How can he get out of Gove? You can't drive out. You have to fly out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sad. 19-year-old, 17 or between 17 and 19, probably these cadets were.
Nothing ever found.
Nothing ever found, and that's what happens a lot of times in the territory. You go missing, you're never found. Crocodiles, crabs, sharks, other things that eat you.
Big force up there.
Big clean up, and just disappear. Probably only had a pair of togs on, away he went. Yeah, so that was poor old Sanjeet, the Naval Cadet.
And you might have all ended up.
We could have
croc feed, looking for him.
I'll tell you, I was frightened.
Do you reckon you had a feel an instinct, or was it just
No,
you were frightened?
I was just
because you were
frightened.
diving
Because
and you
I was
didn't
just
know what you
frightened.
were
I didn't know what I was doing. I couldn't see.
Yep.
I don't know what we were looking for. There's several. He couldn't help it. He's let's go, and he's down the bottom.
You just reminded me. I know this is nowhere on the same level, but we went go-kart racing for my brother's birthday, and we're all in the go-karts, and I think the engines were on, or maybe maybe not, but we had like balaclavas and helmets
and gloves,
and they're giving us instructions on how to operate and I couldn't hear a word anyone was saying, and I'm like looking around and everyone's like, oh.
And you go,
well, I don't know what you just said. What am I supposed to do?
Follow everyone, just like jiu-jitsu training.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
it's no different, is it?
Well, thank you. We've given everyone a shout out.
Oh, one more thing I wanted to ask.
You're going.
So you mentioned something about when you were diving up there, or when people were diving, they would wear stockings on their arms.
Yeah, we wear stockings on your arms and legs.
And legs,
Well, we wear on your body, so you cut the crutch out. So you cut the crutch out.
Yeah.
And you put your arms in the legs and pull it down over your body, and then you put the legs on and pull them up. So you had... It's whereby kinky...
High fashion.
Then you could get stinger suits.
Okay.
They came out a few years later, but at the time there wasn't, so we would wear pantyhose.
And that would protect you
from the stingers.
Mm-hmm. So
the box
like
jellyfish.
The
box jellyfish got big tentacles on them.
They wouldn't help you with that.
Yeah, that's what they would stop.
It would help you.
Would stop you. Unless you got you on the face, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So you could buy the full hooded stinger suit, but we just used to use pantyhose. A large pair of panties. Cut the crutch out, put it on over your hands, and just cut the
so you'd have one set on your
one head on your head and one on your legs.
Okay. I don't want to.
Well, you don't get
this.
in your mind. Well, it just had, as I think I said, I got stung on the ankle by a stinger in like 2 inches of water, and it was a leftover bit of stinger, and I had it was painful for weeks, and I had the scar there for years.
Oh, really?
The scar wouldn't go away.
So
for
it wasn't even a whole live
wasn't even a whole
creature.
bit. It was just a bit of a stinger, leftover stinger or whatever got me. Tentacle got me. Oh, and then we had the stingos, but we used to find out that the best thing was vinegar. Mm-hmm. Like vinegar, we put that, and then they came out with that stingos, and for blue bottles and whatnot. And then everyone's going, "Oh, use urine." No, the urine.
Don't they? I think they say in first aid don't put vinegar now.
Is it? Do they?
I think. I could be wrong.
Probably that, but we used to use vinegar, white vinegar. And then the worst thing you could do with a blue bottle is rub sand. And they get sand and rub, because all you did was rub it in.
Okay.
You got to clean it, scrape it off. I think I told you I got stung by the irukandji in the chest. I told that story.
No.
I'll tell you that story one day. I got stung by an irukandji. I thought I was going to die.
I've seen a documentary on
Have you? I didn't know what they were.
Oh.
I got stung. We didn't know. I got stung one Sunday afternoon, ended up in the hospital, thought I was going to die. Boom, flick in and this irukandji got me. Just tiny. You can't even see them.
No.
They're that small. I was in 3 foot of water, bobbed down after mowing the lawns one Sunday. It was hot. I thought I'll just go down East Woody there and have a swim, duck down. Bang, I went... Got home and I started laying on the lounge going, oh, gee, I'm in pain, all this pain coming through my body. I said to Lloyd, you better take me to the hospital. Go to the hospital. And they go, oh, we don't know what's wrong with you. Put you in the ICU and just pump me full of antivenin for everything. I said, I haven't stepped on a stonefish. I haven't done it. Because you stonefish there, the pain of that, unbelievable, they reckon. I said, and they used to have sea wasps up there. I thought it was a sea wasp, but, just a little, but they go sort of straight away.
Okay.
And just excruciating pain.
Did it come in waves? That's what I think on this documentary.
Yeah, it was waves. Like it started off, and I just went, and I just didn't feel well. And I lay down. And I went, this is like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By 6 o'clock, Louise rang the cops. They're on duty. My mates came up. The police came up, and they're going to the doctor. Do something for him. It looks like he's going to die. My heart rate was up to about 180 beats a minute. Bang, 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 bang. I'm going, I thought I was going to die. I said, I'm going to die. I thought I was going to die. And then gave me some antivenin stuff. Another hour or so, 2 hours later, I come good. I said, right, I'm going home.
So how long were you in hospital?
Only 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, okay.
They gave me all this antivenin.
and I came good. They just kept shooting me with all sorts. I don't know what it was. I was in that much agony. And then I went, right, I'm good. Went home and nothing happened. I think Louise thought I was faking. There's nothing wrong with it. No, I'm good now.
So I'm not sure what these...
All this pain, it was like pain from memory in groin and my legs. That's where I got all this pain into my groin. But it was just shocking. Things like that.
In that documentary, I'm not sure if they were bitten, stung multiple
yeah,
times.
This was just one.
But I remember one of them was saying, if I had had a gun next to me, I would have shot myself in the head because I couldn't bear the pain.
The pain just comes. Comes in. It was so painful.
Horrible.
Yeah, in your body, there's pain, and I don't know where it came from. I said, just got a flick in the. I felt the flick in my chest at the time, but then I went, it's bloody seawater. Because warm water, the water's about 25, 26 degrees. It's too warm. You don't even cool. You actually got too hot when you swam in there. You went, I've got to get out. I'm too hot.
Yeah.
But I just sort of went. I'd been mowing the lawns and just thought I'll go and have a dip. Sunday afternoon, bang. Yeah, lots of things up there. The stingers during the wet season. That's when October to March.
Yeah.
Stingers. Yeah. And I said, didn't worry about the sharks because the crocs ate them all.
That's one thing you don't have to worry about
and
too
now
much.
There's more and more crocodiles. Yeah. So I wasn't really. I was sort of croc aware, but we didn't have a big drama with them. Except the ones that took the body that we talked about and tried to take another body. But apart from that, they were pretty good.
Apart from a few croc encounters.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, that was a long episode.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
You people can go on a road trip and listen.
Yeah, that's right. They can listen to it in two pieces, two parts.
Whenever. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Deb.
We might, next week... Oh, I'm not going to say it this time.
What?
We might get to the New South Wales police.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You better have a think and see if there's more stories.
No, we might get to New South Wales.
Okay.
We've covered a bit about the NT. People are going, I've heard enough of that.
Heard enough of the Northern Territory.
Yeah, let's see what else happened.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. See you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening to episode 9 of Tall Tales and True. We kicked off this week's episode with a question from one of our listeners about the tow truck scams of the 80s. We then moved on to a discussion about dog training before getting into our main story about Jacky Willy, another mysterious figure from the Northern Territory. There are a couple more stories thrown in from the Northern Territory, the crown and anchor theft and the Indian Naval Cadet who went missing while swimming in the harbour at Nullarbor. We may have a few more stories in the Northern Territory before we head down to New South Wales. I'm not going to promise it's next week, but it's coming soon. Bye for now. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure you follow, like, and subscribe to the show so you don't miss what's coming next. We'd love it if you could leave us a review. It really helps more than you think. Got a story, question, or something you want us to unpack on the show? Send it through. We read them all. And come hang out with us on social media, Instagram and Facebook. Just search for us and say hi. If you like this episode, share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and even your dog. Especially your dog. They've probably heard worse podcasts anyway. See you next time.
This episode is proudly sponsored by Five Islands Pest Solutions, servicing the Illawarra and Shoalhaven. If you've got spiders, cockroaches, rodents, or any other unwanted guests, Five Islands Pest Solutions has you covered. You can find them on Facebook or Instagram, or just search Five Islands Pest Solutions online. Give them a call on 0424 158 828. Because Roger spent years dealing with pests on the streets, now our sponsors deal with the ones in your house.